to another bookmas video. Now I've got a very big exciting haul for you. As you can see, we've got a bunch of books here that I'm going to go through and show you. I recently come back from London and I did some damage in London, okay? Every year around Christmas time I like to treat myself to a big book haul, and I haven't done a big book haul like this in a few months, so I thought I'd treat myself. There's a mix of things here from The Works, Waterstones, Amazon, Vinted. There's a mix here. We've got about 30 books here, which is kind of scary for my physical TBR, but hey ho, we live and we learn. Well, we never learn. But I'm just gonna get straight on into the video. Grab yourself a drink. I've got myself a little hot chocolate because I'm obsessed with hot chocolates. I always have a hot chocolate in my videos, it feels like these days. So grab yourself a drink, get cozy, because it's gonna be a long one. I'm just gonna make my way through this giant pile. I'm just gonna randomly grab the books. So I first got these, is it what's her name? Tahira Murphy. I think that's how you say her first name. Tahira Murphy. She's the author of Shatter Me, and I recently fell in love with the Shatter Me series, so I wanted to give these a go. This is This Woven Kingdom, these Infinite Threads, and then All This Twisted Glory. These are part of a series. Yeah, it goes like this. It goes like this. I have no idea what they're about. I think they're YA. I think she writes just YA books, but I have no idea what this is really about, because I know obviously Shatter Me is more dystopian, so I don't know whether these are also dystopian or if they're fantasy. This Woven Kingdom is a story of clashing empires, forbidden romance, and a long forgotten queen who must claw her way through the darkness to reclaim her throne, rebuild a kingdom, and save the people from the half-lives they've been forced to live. That sounds so good. I mean, I should really read the synopsis of a book before I actually buy them, but I bought these off Vinted, so I think I paid £10 for all 3 of these books, which is an absolute steal. And this one is the Waterstones, like, what's it called? Sprayed Edge. So £10 for 3 of these is a steal. And then Penguin ever so kindly sent me these 3 books in a box recently. So we got Wake Up Nat and Darcy by Kate Cochran, and then we got Retrograde by Emily Carter, and then we got Keep Me in Your Heart by Monica Murphy. I'm not sure if this is part of a series because I've read A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime, but I'm not sure if you can read these as like standalones. I'll have to do some research, but I think you can. I'll give it a go anyway, because I did really enjoy A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. I'm very excited for these 3 because I feel like we're very fantasy heavy. No, actually we're not. I feel like we're on par really. I feel like we've actually got more romance, because I was actually running out of romance books to read because I haven't been buying new romance books. I've just been buying new fantasy books recently, so it's nice to have, you know, some more books on my physical TBR of romance. So thank you Penguin for sending me these 3. And then we got Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry, I think you would say it, but I have no idea what this is about. I just know that when this came out everyone was raving about it, but it's something to do with a coffee shop. That's all I know. But it's a really short read. It's quite like short and the writing's really big in it, so I think I'll give this a go because I'm actually really behind on my reading goal. So I think I need to read like a bunch of short books to try and catch up with my reading goal, because I've got to read 11 books in the next 2 weeks to reach my reading goal. So this will get read very soon. Probably. And we got Unsteady by Peyton Corrine. I honestly butcher names all the time, but this is, if you couldn't tell, like a hockey romance, but she's ice skater and he's a hockey player. I've never actually seen anyone speak about this before, but I'm very intrigued by it because I picked this up when I was in London and I read the back and it sounds really interesting. Like, it's got that sort of deepness to it. Like, he suffers from panic attack and she's also then drowning in debt. She's going to like custody hearings for her brothers, so there's like a lot of deep-rooted stuff in it as well, and I love that in my romance books. I love that sort of like emotional element that plays into these romances. Like, that's why I love Hannah Bonham Young, Abby Jimenez, like Emily Henry. Like, they all add that sort of like layer on top of their characters, and I just love that. So very excited to read this, and anything to do with hockey romance I'll read, to be honest. And then we got BK Borison's Love Light Farms. Now, I bought this to read for a video when I was reading Christmas books for a week, but that video wasn't able to happen, unfortunately, just because of like timings and going away on holiday, and like with Christmas coming up there was just a lot. I couldn't like dedicate a whole week to filming. Whether I'll read it or not before Christmas, I don't know, because this isn't necessarily like a Christmas book. It's not a book made like around Christmas, but it's like set on a Christmas tree farm, if that makes sense. So it's got that Christmas element to it, but it's part of a series, and the other 2 series I don't think are Christmas time books. So maybe I won't read it Christmas time. Maybe I'll just read it, you know, in the summertime next year. And then we've got Gothicana by Runix. This I've seen everywhere. Like, I've literally seen this everywhere, but it intrigues me. It's, even though it's a dark romantic fantasy, the place that it's set and like the tropes that it's got, so it's set in like a university, which, you know, I love things like that. It's also then got like a murder mystery plot to it, so like things like that just intrigue me. Anything with like a murder mystery plot, like that's why I loved Crescent City, like House of Earth and Blood, because you had that like murder mystery plot going on, and then with like the fantasy elements thrown into it, I think I'll be fine. Because we know over here, I don't like my books too spicy. I don't mind dark. Like, I've read Haunted and Hunted Adeline. They give me nightmares, okay? I'm not a dark romance girly. So I don't mind dark elements sometimes, you know? My concept of dark and then other people's concept of dark is totally different. But like, yeah, I can deal with like the darker elements and the darker plot lines, but I can't cope with like too much spice, if that makes sense. Like, I'm fine with darkness, just not good with too much spice. As long as the spice is like cohesive with the plot and it like makes sense and it's not just like added in there, then I'm fine. So I'm intrigued to give this a go, and I've definitely been loving my like gothic fantasies recently as well. And then I finally picked up the third book in the Gods and Monsters series. This is The Dawn of the Cursed Queen by Amber V. Nicole. I've been needing to get my hands on the third book. I haven't been able to find it anywhere. I finally got my hands on the third book. They had it in the Waterstones in Piccadilly, so I finally got my hands on it, and I'm very excited to continue this series. The first book is The Book of Azrael. If you didn't know what the series is, then it's first book is called The Book of Azrael. Most people just call it The Book of Azrael series, but the first book's The Book of Azrael, and I loved that so much. It was very similar to Crescent City. I say this all the time on my channel, but any book that's similar to Crescent City, to be honest, I'm gonna love it. Like, I will love it, and I love this. I'm so excited to carry on with the series, but the books are so big that I'm like really scared. So I'll have to wait until the new year to like delve back into my big books, because these books will take up too much of my time right now and I need to reach my reading goal. And then I've picked up the physical copy of Metal Slinger. Now if you watched my booktubers choose what I read for a week, then you will know that Emmy recommended I read this. I did read it on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited, but I loved it so much I needed the physical copy, so I picked the physical copy up. And I also really wanted to get this because this is indie published, and I know for a fact that the hype that this is getting is going to get picked up by a publisher, and it's going to be traditionally published. I've got high hopes for my girl Rachel Schneider. Okay, it's going to be traditionally published, so that means I'll have the indie version as well, because I need all editions, as you will see by these next two books. And then, speaking of other editions, we've got Smack the Everflame and Glow the Everflame. These are the traditionally published versions. You can probably see on my shelf over there. Let me try and like point in the camera. There, I've got the indie versions, but I love this series so much, so I needed the traditionally published versions as well, because even though I love books, I'm also a book collector. Okay, I collect books. I collect different editions of books, special editions, first editions, you know, I'm a book collector. Some people collect coins, I collect books. And then we have got these three books by Becca Mack. We've got Consider Me. I think the series is called the Playing for Keeps series, and they're all NHL romances, like NHL hockey romances, I think. We've got Consider Me, Play With Me, and then Unravel Me. Now I do have I don't know whether you can see, also where my little jellycat octopus is, I've got the first two in the indie versions, but then they got picked up by a publisher midway through the series, and they've been traditionally published like this. They've stopped doing the indie versions, so I needed to pick up the rest of the series in, I think there is a fourth one out as well, but they didn't have that in my works, so I will pick up the fourth one if I ever see it in my local works. But I don't know whether I'll keep the indie ones, because I've only got two of them. Like, if I had the whole series as indies, then I would keep them so they would match, but them being like out of sync kind of stresses me out. And then we've got three books by Hannah Bonham Young. My bestie Danny kindly gifted these to me in a sort of Friendsmas book box that we did together. And we've got Out on a Limb, which I have already read, and I absolutely love this book. And then we've got Next to You, and then we've got Next of Kin. I think these are standalones. I don't think they've had for series, even though they are all beautifully matching. Like, this is how you do covers, okay? Authors, this now, do what Hannah Bonham Young's doing. This is how you do covers. They all match. They're all beautiful. All the spines match. Perfection. But I read this one and it was really good. I haven't read these two, but she does really good like deep rooted. Like I mentioned just now, she does like that emotional element really well. Authors just add like the disability representation just to like add a bit of something into the books, but you can tell that they don't really have the full knowledge of what they're speaking about. But I feel like Hannah Bonham Young does it in such a great way that it makes you feel like you're reading about real people, and I just loved it. I fell in love with the writing. It's very similar to that of like Emily Henry, Callie Fortune, Abby Jimenez, like very similar writing, and I love those writing styles, so very excited to read the next 2 of these. Right, moving on to our last stack. I feel like we're flying through these. So I got these 2, they're all mixed up right now. I got these 2 by Mary E. Pearson. It's Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves. These are, I bought these and then I realised you have to read the first series, which is the Kiss of Deception series, I think it's called. But then I remember I remember I watched Ali's video and she read these and she hadn't read the Kiss of Deception series, but it's just like a prequel series, and apparently you don't have to. I've done my research, you don't have to, but I think I will. I picked these up on Vinted, so I'll probably pick up the other 2 on Vinted as well, like the other 3 books, the prequel on Vinted as well, because I think they're all on Vinted. And I think I bought these for like £6 for these 2 books. There is like a bit of damage on the bottom, but for £6 you can't go wrong. So I think I'm going to pick up the prequel series as well to read before I read these, because I really want to have the best reading experience possible. And then we got The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. I have seen everyone rave about this, okay? Especially when I read Metal Slinger and everyone was recommending similar books to Metal Slinger. They were like, if you love the plot twists of Metal Slinger, then you should read The Prison Healer. So I was like, okay, I need to read Prison Healer. My bestie Danny read it and she was like, you need to read it, Brie, you're gonna love it. Like the plot twist at the end had her head spinning, so I'm very excited. Oh my god, the weather is so bad outside. And then I feel like I'm the only person that hasn't read The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. She's the author of The Inheritance Games. Now I did try and read The Inheritance Games and I DNF'd it. It wasn't for me, it was very YA, like super YA. Not my cup of tea. But then this is like, I love this. Like I love Criminal Minds. I used to love watching CSI growing up. Like I just love all of the like criminal investigation stuff. They all have like, it's not like magic, but they all have like a certain skill set. So as a group of teenagers, they all have like this certain skill set which helps them to solve these cold cases. So the FBI like recruits them or something like that, and they help solve the cold cases. So I'm very intrigued, and it's quite short as well. So I just picked up the first one in this because I haven't had the best experience with Jennifer Lynn Barnes in the past. So I did just pick up the first one, and if I don't enjoy it, then I won't feel sorry about myself for having the whole series. But I think I'm going to enjoy it. And then we've got just Court of Winter by Krista Street. This is the first book in a Fae of Snow and Ice series, and Krista Street is a indie author. I haven't read anything by her before, but I read the back of this and it sounded really good. Okay, sometimes I just go on Amazon and I just like look for like indie published books because I love supporting indie authors, and I just love like recommending indie published authors. Like some of my favourite authors are indie published, and I just love it when they like get picked up by publishers and you feel like you've been there from the start. I don't know why, it's just like you're there for the journey, and I love it so much. And I feel like I'm running out of like just like simple fae romances like ACOTAR and things like that. It's just a fae fantasy, do you know what I mean? And this is just a fae fantasy, so I feel like I'm running out of them, so I'm kind of excited to have just a simple fae fantasy. And then we got Sanctuary of the Shadow by Aurora Asher. Apparently this is meant to give Caraval, but dark and adult. Apparently. For humans, a circus is a place filled with wonder and amazement. For Harrow is a place to hide from those who slaughter her entire clan. Or she's a witch, disguising her abilities as part of her act to keep her true identity safe for years. So it's a circus, and each attraction has a different power, and she's a witch. But a new strange attraction with no name, no memory of who or even what he is, let alone an explanation for his deadly powers, arrives. Ooh, sounds good. It literally says a fancy romance that has everything. Sign me up. And then I finally picked up Fall of Ruin and Wrath by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I haven't read a GLA book before, but I know that Emmy loves From Blood and Ash, I think it's called. Yeah, From Blood and Ash. I've had that book for about 2 years and I haven't read it yet because it's so big and it scares me. But I seen everyone rave about this when it came out in the hardback, because it came out in hardback first of all, and then this came out this year, but I don't know when paperback came out. It came out in 2024, it came out this year, so it hasn't been out long. But I know everyone has raved about this, and a few of my friends over on TikTok always tell me to read this because they know it's something that I'm gonna love. So I'm very excited because I was gonna buy the hardback, but I thought if I don't like it, because I got so many hardbacks, especially with like my fairy loot stuff and things like that, like I only want the hardbacks if I really love it. I waited and I picked up the paperback, so finally got the paperback and I'm excited to give it a go because I don't know what it's about and I don't want to know. I'm not even going to read the back to try and tell you because I don't want to know. I want to go into this blind. On to our last 3 books. We have got Throne of Blood Red Order by Mariana M.R. Now Mariana kindly sent this to me. She is another indie author. She emailed me and she was like, I would love you to read my book, and I was like, I read it, like the synopsis, that sounds like something I would really enjoy. It's about Rhea and she's in the Red Order, which is a order full of assassins, and she's been sent on a mission to kill the king and queen of Aralan. Ooh, so she ends up undercover in the castle. In a world full of magic, Rhea faces challenges after challenge in pursuit of her deadly mission. But will she stay true to the path, or will her time in the castle make her have a change of heart? Ooh, okay, very excited for this. It's also on Kindle Unlimited as well if you guys want to read it, so go support our small indie authors, guys, okay? And then we've got my last and final book to add to my Cali Fortune collection. This is Meet Me at the Lake. I love Cali Fortune books, okay? Cali Fortune is my Emily Henry. The way people feel about Emily Henry is the way I feel about Cali Fortune, and this is the last book that I need to read by her. But I think this is a prequel kind of to Every Summer After. I think this is about the brother from Every Summer After, I think. I could be wrong though. I could be thinking of a whole different book. I think it is. I'll have to look. I think I'm wrong. I have no idea, but you can't tell me that these are not meant to be the part of a series. Not a series, but like part of like the interconnected world, because they look like they're meant to be. And then lastly we've got Frederick Backman's Bear Town. I've seen so many people here on booktube read this book. I've first seen Sarah read it, and then I've seen Ashlyn read it, and I really am excited to just form my own opinion on it. I've never read a Frederick Backman book before, but I think this is just a sort of general fiction book, which I don't really read much of, but it's got this like hockey romance element in it. Not hockey romance, like hockey, revolves around hockey, and I love hockey. But there's a, is this the one with the hockey in it? I don't know. I think it is. Oh no, I don't know. I actually don't know what it's about. I think I could have made that hockey team up. I don't know, but it's apparently got like some really deep topics in it. Any book that like stirs my emotions, I'll give it a go. So I think I'm gonna read this. I could incorporate this into a video as well somehow, so you guys can see my reactions on that. But that was the last and final book. I hope you guys enjoyed. I definitely did. I now need to find room to fit these on my bookshelves. But let me know in the comments if you've read any of those books, and let me know in the comments if you've read this and it's got the element of like a hockey team in it, or if I just made that up. But I know one of his books have like an element of a hockey team in it, but let me know please. And I will see you guys in the next video. But before you go, don't forget to subscribe, like all the other jazz that I was asking you to do, and yeah, bye.